But how can they speak for us if they've never lived like us? How can someone with no proximity to poverty write laws for the poor? How can someone with generational wealth legislate for the working class? This is the fundamental failure of the legislative branch. It speaks from the mountaintop, but claims to know the valley. You want a body of lawmaker that serves the people? Start asking what kind of selves sit in those seats, because society is shaped by the self, and if the selves in Congress are narcissists, cowards, or opportunists, then no law they pass will ever serve the collective. It would only serve the collective of people like them. James Madison warned us about mob rule, but ask yourself, who was the mob? And who was he protecting? When he spoke of the dangers of majority factions, he wasn't talking about the protection of enslaved people, indigenous tribes, or poor white farmers. He was talking about property owners, about men like himself. In Federalist number 10, he made it plain the most dangerous threat to government was the many united against the few who owned the wealth. The minority he championed wasn't oppressed, it was entitled. A small, wealthy class, afraid that democracy might actually work, afraid that the people might actually reach up and take back what they were forced to give away. What sounds like noble political theory, in truth, is the blueprint for how to safely cage democracy, how to let the people speak but never scream loud enough to shake the pillars of power. And it worked. Congress isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as designed. A legislative fortress built to protect the minority that matters most, the wealthy elite. A minority class like any other, except theirs comes armored in capital. They don't march for their rights. They write them into law. You protest with cardboard signs. They protest with policy. You shout in the streets. They whisper in committee rooms and close the door. The cost of entry into their world isn't passion or vision. It's money. That's why the price tag to run for office is so high. That's why a climate policy reads like a corporate memo, because the systems were never built for you. They were built against you. And until we stop pretending like the system is failing, we'll never understand that it's succeeding at doing exactly what it was made to do. That's why nothing changes. That's why we get performative hearings with no real world applications other than content farming. That's why we have billionaires writing tax codes and corporations writing climate policies, because the legislative branch is not broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to: protect the powerful from the people. Universal consciousness demands that law evolve alongside knowledge. The law should expand as our awareness expands, but this branch clings to tradition, precedent, and self-preservation. It resists change because change threatens the structure that keep the ruling class in power. The body demands that laws be human, visceral, protective, but the legislative branch is slow, detached. It can write a bill about healthcare without knowing what it feels like to go without it. It can write law about labor without knowing what it means to sweat for rent. The body of Congress has no body. It has privilege. It has lobbyists. It has insulation. The environment demands that the law reflects reality, but the legislative branch moves through fantasy. It clings to the myths of American exceptionalism and free market salvation. It refuses to see the actual world, its laws, shapes, it legislates from illusion, then blames the people for the consequences of its blindness. The legislative branch is not a place where the people write their will into law. It's the place where the ruling class codifies its fear into policy. It is not a place of guidance. It is a place of control. And unless we radically transform who gets to sit in those seats and how those seats are earned, we will continue to pass laws that benefit the few and burden the many.